Hi everyone, and welcome back to Cooking in Pink Boots. I have a fun, fancy, and flavorful recipe for you today. One that the entire family is going to love. Yes, the kiddies too. It's quick, easy, and delicious. So no slaving over a hot stove for hours. As a matter of fact, you can get the kiddies to assist on the filling part. My 5-year-old loves helping out with this dish. And to top it off, it's budget friendly. You will not believe what all goes into this cast iron pan of deliciousness that I call Manichiladas. Well, I'm about to show you. Let's do this. For my easy cheesy Manichiladas, you'll need 14 pieces of Manicotti shells, a box of Hamburger Helper cheesy enchiladas, yes, I said Hamburger Helper, a pack of enchilada sauce, or 2 cups of the enchilada sauce you prefer. Now the next 2 ingredients are totally optional. You can always use a tablespoon of the powdered versions for little finicky eaters. Just add it into the filling, and those ingredients are a small onion and 3 cloves of chopped garlic. And moving on to a half bundle of green onions, shredded cheese. I'm using the pizza blend because it has more mozzarella, but feel free to use whichever you prefer. Cream cheese, sour cream, salt, black pepper, and dried parsley flakes. Here I will be using a pound of ground beef, but if you prefer chicken, it is just as easy and delicious. Just follow the directions on back of the Hamburger Helper box. And for our enchilada sauce, you will need an 8-ounce can of tomato sauce, and for our Hamburger Helper, you will also be needing milk, some olive oil for frying, and preferably but not required, a cast iron pan. Now let's get started, shall we? By chopping down our small onion, our 3 cloves of garlic, and with our green onions, I'm going to go ahead and slice them up just a little bit smaller, just by running my knife directly down the strips, making it a lot thinner, and chop away. And once we got all that chopped and ready to go, let's go ahead and add some water to a large pot, large enough to fit our 14 pieces of Manicotti shells. Add some salt to it, push it aside, and bring to a boil. Moving on to our cast iron pan, adding a couple of tablespoons of olive oil, throwing in those onions, sauteing them. Once they start to become pretty soft, add in that garlic, mix them all up, and I can smell it already. I just love the smell of garlic. Making our little well in the middle, throwing in that ground beef, cooking until completely brown. Now back to our water. Once that has reached a rapid boil, we'll go ahead and drop in very carefully our Manicotti shells. Now we're only going to cook that for approximately 5 to 7 minutes till just past al dente. Now once our ground beef is fully cooked, we are going to drain out all that oil and continue following the directions on the back of our Hamburger Helper box. Now yes, it's Hamburger Helper, so I'm going to fast forward right through this. Now, notice how I'm using a different pot to proceed with making my Hamburger Helper? Well, that's because after pouring out my ground beef into a strainer without washing my cast iron pan, I'm going to make my enchilada sauce directly into it, getting all those flavors to add into that sauce. Now, if you're using a regular pan, just be sure to have a baking pan ready to go. And here I'm adding some additional ingredients to my Hamburger Helper, starting off with a teaspoon of dried parsley flake. Then just season with some salt and black pepper. Just measure to taste, let your heart be your guide. And after 5 to 7 minutes, our Manicotti shells should be ready. Now we want to submerge them into some cold water to stop the cooking process and set aside to strain until ready to be filled. Now let's move on to our enchilada sauce, shall we? In my cast iron pan that still has all that flavor from the garlic, onions, and ground beef, I simply added in a package of enchilada sauce mix, along with an 8-ounce can of tomato sauce and a cup and a half of water, cooked on medium-high until thickened. Yep, easy, right? Now let's check on our Hamburger Helper. Oh my gosh, it smells so good. I'm not even gonna lie, I love this stuff, and I can eat it just like this. But not today. Today, I'm taking it to its max prestige. And here I'm adding in 1/4 cup of that enchilada sauce right into our Hamburger Helper mixture. And with the heat off, I'm going to allow that rice to soak up all that flavor for about 5 minutes. Then adding in more additional ingredients, such as another teaspoon of dried parsley flakes, 2 tablespoons of cream cheese, and a tablespoon of sour cream. Give that a quick mix and then add in those green onions, reserving some for garnish. Now get that all combined really well and set to the side to cool. Once your enchilada mixture has cooled to a slightly warm temperature, either transfer into a piping bag or what I have here, a Ziploc freezer bag, working your mixture to one side and snipping the tip. Now this next step is where you want to get the kids involved. My 5-year-old loves to participate in this. As a matter of fact, she does a much better job than I do. All you have to do is pipe the filling in both ends of the Manicotti shells. Now if it breaks, no worries, nothing a bit of cheese can't fix. And like I said, my 5-year-old does a much better job than I do. Now just spoon over some of that enchilada sauce right on top and cover with cheese. Then right over that, just sprinkle over a bit of dried parsley flakes. Then bake for 15 minutes at 400 degrees. After 15 minutes, set your oven's temperature to broil for 3 to 5 minutes to brown the top, keeping a close eye on the progress to prevent the cheese from burning. And while that's baking, I'm going to continue with my sour cream topping that came with our hamburger helper. Hey, I'm going to get my money's worth. And here we have it, my easy cheesy Manichiladas. It looks and smells absolutely delicious. And wait, before I go any further, the cheese test. Yep, looks like it passed. Now we can proceed with drizzling some of that sour cream mixture right on top and garnishing with that leftover green onions. And keeping to the theme, I'm going to serve this up with the Caesar salad topped with avocado ranch dressing and some tortilla chips to top that off. And there we have it, the perfect family dinner, my Manichiladas. It was easy, it was inexpensive, and it was delicious. Well, thank you all so much for watching. Please join me again for another fantastic recipe right here in my kitchen, where every day I'm cooking in pink boots with her. Bye.